Oh boy, this is a good one, people. So apparently Blizzard's finally decided to have a go at solving one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of our time. Why does Dave the Demon Hunter keep leaving my bloody keys? Yes folks, it's the dawn of the Mythic Plus Deserter system, or as I like to call it, Mark of the Quitter. And before you ask, no, this isn't some tinfoil hat nonsense from Dave on Reddit, who's convinced that N'Zoth has rigged the Great Vault and ruined his life. This came straight from an official interview with Blizzard, which is about as close as we get to divine scriptures these days. So here's how it works. If you want to leave a Mythic Plus dungeon without getting publicly branded as a serial deserter, you'll have to initiate a little group vote first. A small bit of democracy in the hands of a WoW community that voted to skip Halls of Infusion and still ended up in Halls of Infusion. It's basically the first time in WoW history anyone had to ask permission before rage quitting. This is called progress, I suppose. If everyone agrees the dungeon is a lost cause, fair enough, no harm done, everyone leaves, everyone happy, except probably Steve, who just realized that this was his +10 key and it got downgraded to a 9. And the only reason he did this key was because he wasn't getting any invites, so desperately started his own. But what if you don't vote, or you keep muddying the waters like a Tauren in the Swamp of Sorrows? You'll be marked, and suddenly finding a group will be about as easy as tanking on your monk without a healer. Yes, you think you had a hard time joining groups before? Just wait and see how many invites you will get when joining Group Finder and this shows up. High risk, this one is a quitter, lads. You better think twice before picking this one. Yes, his item level is decent, he is playing the meta spec, he even has a decent Warcraft log score, but his stamina in dungeons is really low. He doesn't have any patience for when the struggle starts. Don't even think about taking him during progression, wipes is not his forte. Which, let's be honest, is going to be absolutely brutal for DPS players. You lot already queue for 40 minutes, like you're waiting for concert tickets on a website that doesn't load well. Now imagine doing that while wearing a badge that says, probably won't finish your key. At that point, you might as well uninstall and play Diablo 4 instead, where they throw loot at you in the thousands, no queue and no group required. You know, this whole thing actually reminds me of that social credit system in China people used to talk about, where your score apparently decides if you get to go on a holiday during peak seasons or stay home and eat instant noodles instead. And there was all that speculation it would come to Europe one day and we all be up in arms about it. Well, turns out we've got it, but now it's in gaming. And honestly, I know, so far I might sound a bit negative to this change. I'm trying to look at it from a different lens, because if I'm brutally honest to myself, I don't even think it's that bad. Ever since Blizzard introduced cross-realm looking for group, we lost accountability. Back in the day, you'd remember the name. Oh look, there's Dave the Deserter. Not inviting him, not walking 20 minutes to Scholomance for him to bail halfway through. And that's exactly what this new system is. Accountability for your not so nice behavior. But, and it's a big but, the implementation is everything. Blizzard needs to think long and hard about how these tools will be used. And more importantly, how they will be twisted into something unholy by the average pug group within 24 hours. I mean, let me set the stage for a minute. This is a true story. Not too long ago, might have been last week, I queued for a normal dungeon on an alt, waited about 10 minutes, got a group, and we ended up in the Dawnbreaker. All fine. Did the boss fight, flew down. I actually followed the DPS to a landing spot, like you do. Apparently though, the tank decided we're doing the captains first, on normal. Not a word in chat. No, hey lads, come here, nothing. And in their infinite patience, the tank started a vote kick. Everyone, without thinking, even the DPS besides me, just clicked yes. Before I realized what was happening, bang. I was outside the dungeon with a 30-minute deserter buff because I landed at Rashan and not at the bloody church. And I remember sitting there, thinking, has WoW really sunk to this level in a normal dungeon, no communication? And that, my friends, is why we need to be careful with these systems. Not because they're a bad idea, but because people are. Oh yes, Blizzard is giving gamers the power to ruin your experience and the means to rejoin a group. Your response could be, so what? So what? Someone who deserts a group ruins the experience for everyone in that group. And yes, you'd be absolutely right. It's probably one of the biggest frustrations for Mythic Plus buggers out there. And marking someone as a deserter who bailed on the group because of lack of patience seems pretty legit to me. But it's not always that black and white. What if you disconnect? Now in fairness, You can get rid of the mark by behaving yourself. Complete a few keys, vote properly, you're back in society's good graces. So the devs say. But how does that work if you can't get into groups? And what if people see the same "this one's a critter lads" when joining your own key? I've definitely got some concerns. And it's not even the tools, the fact we have a social system, but more on how it will be used, as the WoW community can be very creative. What do you think? Is it a good system? Am I worried for nothing? Or will it be a good benefit for people who want to finish their keys? I'm really curious on what your thoughts are on this one. Leave a comment below. Hello lovely people, great to have you with me. It's always good to know you there and watching my videos. My name is Brink and welcome back to my channel. Before we get into this video, please let me ask you if you would support this channel in a practical sense and part with a bit of gold. Price of a cup of coffee. Sign up and you will join my known work support group and you gain access to some exclusive videos. Let's get back to the video. Of course, the devil is in the details. Like anything, Blizzard decides on how to implement this. From my point of view, the things we gotta watch out for the most are the things that were not mentioned in the interview. The things that they decide to leave out. For instance, what happens if Dave disconnects because his hamster decided to eat his internet cable? Or your crappy internet provider decided to do some maintenance? Does that count as leaving? What if you're trapped in a group with Steve the Paladin who wants to time his +12 with 2 people offline and won't vote to leave because he thinks we can still do this, lads? And how many leaves does it actually take to get marked? Spoiler alert, Blizzard won't tell us, because if they do, people will immediately figure out the threshold and abuse it. Because of course we will. And then there's the best one. What's stopping a leaver from spamming low keys with a few friends, farming some crests, and getting their mark removed faster than a fat kid eating cupcakes? Look, in theory, this is a good step. It's about time the Mythic Plus system got a bit of accountability, but the implementation. It's Blizzard we're talking about. It's highly questionable and undoubtable it won't be done correctly, the first implementation. If you think nobody's going to hold keys hostage, you've clearly never pugged with a druid called Leaf Lord 69 at 2 AM. I fully expect the forums to be an absolute shit show. The usual suspects arguing over whether this system is the death of Mythic Plus, or the first time in WoW history anyone's been held responsible for anything, or heaven forbid, you're not even allowed to rage quit in peace anymore. Personally, I can't wait for Taliesin and Avatar's video on it. I love it when Telly does his little "let's check the forum" segment. And look, whether you're for it, against it, or already planning how to exploit it, this whole thing's happening. So maybe, just maybe, think twice before you vanish your next key, like some rogue with commitment issues. At the end of the day, it all comes down to one thing. Don't be a dick. Vote before you bolt. Finish your keys. Yeah, I know that's 3 things. Cut me some slack. And for the love of all that's holy, stop blaming the tank for everything. I'm not your babysitter, Dave. You over-aggroed my underperforming monk and paid the price. That's it for now, you filthy casuals. If you enjoyed this video, smack that subscribe button like it's bloodlust on your last attempt. Thanks for watching. Brinks out.